Hiya, welcome to Craftwork. I'm Ruthie and today I'm back with another video, and this one's slightly different. It's kind of a mix between some of the videos that I've done before. I usually do either a tutorial or a vlog style. This is more me kind of showing you the process of something that I've done because it's a little bit different to the way I'm used to working. So if you've seen my little red dress project reveal video, then you will know that I used this book, Freehand Fashion by Chinello, Bally, and I absolutely loved it and really enjoyed it. And then if you saw my resolutions video, you'll know that I wanted to continue to challenge myself and use sort of techniques that are a bit out of my comfort zone, such as the freehand fashion techniques. So with that in mind, I definitely could have done this a lot quicker if I just copied something that I already had, but I am really happy with the way this turned out. And I've now got a jersey block that I can use across things. I can use this against patterns and stuff as well. So yeah, I use techniques, basically just measuring myself and then putting that to paper using specific measurements to create the shape that I wanted for this top. Also, I'm a little bit broke at the moment, even more so than I normally am, so I can't even buy any fabric at all. But I have a stash, I have a whole chest of drawers full of fabric, so it's not like I can't make anything. However, it's slightly difficult with the fact that I am trying to only make things that are perfect for my wardrobe or that I really want to wear, and my fabric stash doesn't necessarily reflect that. So I may have to do some sort of like, yeah, stash sale or something, I don't know. But I tend to buy fabrics because I see them, I like them, particularly because I buy a lot of sample fabrics from like Maggie's Fabrics, which is great, but yeah, it tends to be things that are like quite pattern heavy, and what I need in my wardrobe now is a lot more like plain colours. So this is one of the fabrics that I had that's actually just leftover fabrics that I had from making my brother a jumper a couple of years ago. So yeah, it's been in my stash for ages. I think I got it from Fabrics Galore. It's a super soft jersey, and I had only about half a metre left. But looking at it, it looked like it could make like a small jersey top like this, and I'm so happy that I managed to get that out of it. I thought I'd take you along with the process and just show you how I did it and what measurements I needed. It's not necessarily like a fully comprehensive tutorials like some of my other ones, and if you just want to make something like this, then you could definitely use the techniques that are from, for example, my perfect tee video. I could have just made another t-shirt, but I didn't want to. I wanted to challenge myself because of the fact that my fabric stash doesn't at the moment necessarily reflect what I actually want to like add to my wardrobe. I've got to find new ways of being creative in the way that I want to be creative. This definitely fits with my personal style. It's easy to wear, it's easy to style with everything. It's definitely something that I needed in my wardrobe. Okay, it's not very weather appropriate at the moment, but it is actually quite cosy, and with a cardigan it's really nice. And I've also been wearing it under like jumpers as well, and it's just really lovely. I love the curved hem at the bottom. Don't think I actually necessarily meant to do that, but I adore it. I think it's really flattering and it sits exactly where I wanted it to sit. So yeah, I'll try and show you the way I did it in the most comprehensive way, but it's not necessarily a tutorial. But yeah, hopefully you might be able to get something from it, and if you are interested in this sort of thing, then there's a link in the description for you to go and get this book, because it is brilliant and you really should get it if you're interested in doing like more like freehand sewing. It is such a fun technique and a lot less daunting than it looks, and hopefully this video will show you just how easy it is. Okay, first the measurements. I'm not going to go into too much detail on this, so I'll link to some useful videos in the description box below. There's two categories of measurement, the vertical and the horizontal. The horizontal measurements needed are bust, under bust, waist, shoulder, hip and across front, which I always just take as basically the top of my armpit. Then the vertical measurements are shoulder to hem, however long you want it to be, adding at least a centimetre for the hem, the shoulder to across front, shoulder to across back, shoulder to bust, shoulder to under bust and shoulder to waist. Then I laid some paper out and marked out my vertical measurements along what will be the fold line. I'm going to go over to a crudely drawn diagram now to show this properly, so please excuse it, but hopefully it's a bit more clear than the pencil I was helpfully using when I did it. So with these vertical measurements written out, I made it into a series of horizontal lines across the paper and then marked 3.5 inches on the shoulder line and 3.5 inches down from the shoulder line. Then I took my shoulder measurement, divided by 2 and again marked it on the shoulder line. I then divided my across front measurement by 2 and added that to the shoulder to across front line and did the same for the across back. On the shoulder to bust line, I divided my bust measurement by 4, added that to the line and repeated for my waist and hip measurements as well. I then roughly joined up the dots like so, straightened out the lines, and then realised that this would be way too big, so I did it all again, minus 2 inches for every horizontal measurement after dividing to get something that would work with such a stretchy fabric. Then to get the most out of my small amount of fabric, I folded it into the middle rather than selvage to selvage and cut out my pattern pieces like so. For the back piece though, I made the neckband curve a lot shallower and took out more of a curve from the armhole to join the across back measurement rather than across front. I then cut out a neckband / collar piece that was 12 inches long by 6 inches wide. Okay, so then I decided to baste the front and back pieces together to check the fit and then remove those stitches and overlocked the shoulder seams together. I then folded the neckband aligning the short sides, sewed this up and then folded it lengthways and wrong sides together to make a collar. I overlocked these raw edges to keep them together and then pinned and sewed them to the neckline of the top like so. I then sewed up the side seams. Originally I sort of hemmed the armholes, but that completely stretched them out, so I unpicked that and bound them by measuring the armhole and then cutting 2 strips of fabric 2 inches shorter by about 1.5 inches. I then sewed the short ends together, folded it over lengthways and wrong sides together and then pinned and sewed it to the right side of the armhole, stretching the binding as I went. I then pressed this binding to the wrong side and top stitched it down with a straight stitch, and then all that was left was to hem. So yeah, that's everything that I did. As I say, I started off just by hemming the armholes, which was obviously a mistake, and they needed to be like bound or something. You could obviously add sleeves, etc., but that's a whole different part of the book. I don't want to like go through too much that's like directly taken from the book, but I'm hoping to hone in my skills more and maybe I'll be able to do like other tutorials on other garments in the future. But yeah, if you are interested in freehand fashion, this is such a good book. It's really comprehensive. It feels a bit daunting to begin with, but hopefully this video has shown you that it's not that hard, and it is really enjoyable. I'm super proud that I've managed to make this just from my measurements, as I was with my little red dress project. I am planning to make more of the garments that are actually in this book. So yeah, I'm really pleased with this. I'm looking forward to making more things with this technique and hopefully bringing you along with that little journey. Next week I'm back with another vlog and I'll be talking about getting your sojo back. So if you haven't heard this term, it's a mashup of sewing and mojo. I don't know who coined it first, but yeah, it's been thrown around across Instagram recently, especially because I think a lot of people really feel it in January. I think for me particularly, because I did a lot of sewing for Christmas, I enjoyed it all, but obviously it's very selfless sewing, and yeah, by the time I finished it there was a little bit of relief because I'd got it done. And then I realised I hadn't really been thinking about what I want to wear and what I want to make, and yeah, I just needed a little bit of a break from the sewing machines really. However, I've definitely started to feel the urge to sew a lot more again recently, and I've talked about this a little bit on my Instagram, and lots of people seem to be feeling the same thing. So I thought next week I would talk about how I've kind of got over that and some of the things I've done. But I mean, ultimately, what can you do? A creative block is a creative block, and it's usually just a short amount of time and you'll get back into it. So yeah, if you're feeling a lack of sojo at the moment, then don't worry, help is at hand, but also just give yourself a break. It's totally fine. You'll find it again, I promise. So yeah, that's it from me this week. I hope you've enjoyed this. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know if you have lost your sojo and how you're getting it back, or if you have any tips that you think I should be including in next week's video. I'd love to hear from you, and I'm really grateful for everyone who's subscribed so far and for all your lovely comments as well. They make my day and you're all wonderful. So yeah, thanks, and I will see you again next week. Have a great week, guys. Bye.